Great. So now let's look at an example where we have a set of patients and let's try to compute the Herald C index for this particular risk model. Now notice that all of these risk scores are scalars, and we can ask, where did these come from? Well, if we have a Cox proportional hazards model, remember that we had come up with risks such as 0.65 times lambda naught of t, and that could be this number over here. But also when we looked at survival trees, for survival trees we looked at the M, where we summed over the cumulative hazards for a population, and so when we did that sum, that led to a scalar as well. And so this could come from either the mortality for a survival tree or from this scale factor for the Cox. But we have this risk model which outputs these risk scores. Let's look at how we can evaluate how good of a model this is on this data. Okay, so our first step is going to be to look at the permissible pairs in this population. So let's first try to find which of these pairs are permissible. So let's first look at the pair AB and determine whether that's permissible. So notice now that we have the censoring occur before the event time. So this is a case where we're not able to compare the outcomes, so that's not a permissible pair. We'll see AC now. For AC, we can see the event time here is happening before, so this is going to be a permissible pair. Then we can look at AD and see that both of these times are censored, so we won't be able to make this comparison. We can look at AE and determine, okay, we have an event occur before an observation is censored, so this is also a valid permissible pair. Let's look at B now. So our first comparison is going to be B and C. Both of these are events, so we can definitely compare them. Add B and D, we can see that the censoring is happening before the event, so this is not going to be a permissible pair. Let's look at B and E. So for B and E, both of those are events, so that's certainly a permissible pair. Now let's look at C. So C and D is the first one. So notice here that C and D is a case where we have one event, but we know one of them was censored at the time. Now, when we know one of them was censored at the time, we know that they didn't have an event up to or at that time, so we know that the worst outcome was for C, so this is a permissible pair. Notice that so far I've only looked at the T column. I'm not looking at the risk column at all because we don't need the risk column when we're determining whether a pair is permissible. Let's look at C and E and notice that that's also a permissible pair because both are events. And finally, let's look at D and E and realize that for D, the censoring is happening before the event time, so we won't be able to compare the two. And so we have